I admit it. I'm a pixel peeper. Well, I'm trying to get better. I have been doing it for a long time, so it's hard to break the habit. You know who you are, pixel peepers. There's lots of us. You know, you download an image in the computer and it isn't maybe as sharp as you want. You zoom into 200 or 300%, looking for that tiny little detail that'll tell your brain that it's a sharp image, and it's not. So you look at the next image and you keep trying to find that sharpness. And then you go through your lenses and you can't decide, you know, which lens is the sharpest, and you read tests online and you watch videos and you go buy more expensive lenses, always in search of that sharpness perfection. It's a habit. It's an addiction. I was actually a pixel peeper before there were pixels. I was a print sniffer. I'd get those prints and get right up on them, maybe a magnifying glass, trying to find that sharpness. You know, and my brother's to blame. My brother was a photographer also, and he shot Leicas, you know. And back then I was shooting Canons. I had an AE1 program and a Canon EF and a few lenses. I was pretty happy. My brother convinced me that I really needed to switch to Nikon. If I was going to be serious about photography, I had to go to Nikon. So I sold the Canon gear and bought some Nikons, and the images weren't any better. The cameras were great. I mean, I liked them. They're okay, but I still wasn't happy. And then I went to a camera show with my brother in Dallas, and I traded for an old Leica 3A, like made in 1935. And then I found a 50 millimeter f3.5 Elmar that was a little bit later. It was a post-war lens that was coated. And I got hooked on Leicas, bad. So next camera show, I buy an M3, and the only lens I could afford at the moment was a 50 millimeter Scimitar, which I had to put a screw to M adapter on to put it on that Leica, that M3. And it was pretty good. You know, I could make nice size enlargements, and the center was really sharp, but the edges, not as great. And my brother said, man, you got to get a Summicron. You got to get a 50 millimeter Summicron. So I saved up and bought that Summicron, and man, I was in heaven. Images sharp everywhere I wanted them. And then digital came along, and I worked at a studio for a while. We had Fuji S2s, and really wasn't shooting my own stuff as much as I was for the company, so the studio. So I didn't really do it that much, and I kind of moved away from photography for a number of years. And when I came back, I got an Olympus EPL5 and took it out in the backyard and shot a couple pictures real quick, and came inside and looked at the screen, and they weren't that sharp. They weren't very good. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm looking at the screen. So I put them in the computer and blew them up, and they were okay, but they weren't fantastic. So then I start watching reviews online, you know, and looking on eBay and trying to see if I can upgrade the lens to something better. And this is just an addiction. It goes on and on and on. I had a problem. I had to figure out how to fix it. So what was I going to do? The solution I found was pinhole photography. For a year, I didn't shoot anything but pinhole stuff. Now, I mean, I shot a few digital pictures with my phone, or, you know, with my camera to create thumbnails for videos and stuff like that. But from all my artistic effort, I shot pinhole. And I made this camera out of an old Olympus 6 folding camera I bought at the thrift store. The lens was full of fungus, and it was no good, and the bellows was all torn up. So I took the front door off of it and all that stuff, and I mounted this aluminum plate. Ordered a laser pinhole from Reality So Subtle in France, and made myself a pinhole camera. It's 28 millimeter focal length on 6x6. It's nice and wide, and a lot of fun. I can take this on a little tabletop tripod or a small tripod, light and easy, maybe a light meter, or I'd use an app on my phone, and had a lot of fun. I could take pictures and not worry about sharpness, because there was no sharpness. I even made a pinhole lens for my digital micro four thirds cameras. It's got one of those laser drilled pinholes in it. And I can tell you, on micro four thirds with a pinhole lens, there is no sharpness at all. But the things that I really focused on were composition and lighting and the subject material and timing and those things that really make a photograph. And I found myself slowly kind of moving away from this desire to see sharpness, because when you looked at those negative scans, there was just no sharpness. There wasn't any. And so you had to really think about what mattered in the image. So I started doing this for a while, and then I thought, well, maybe I could get a bit more detail if I went to a bigger negative. So I bought a Reality So Subtle 4x5 pinhole camera and started taking pictures. And yeah, there was more detail, but then I realized, you know, I wasn't helping myself. I was just moving the problem to a different type of camera. So I went back to this, and I guess I need to sell it. I've got that 4x5 pinhole camera. But I went to this and back to this and started shooting again, and some of my favorite images with this pinhole camera. I did that for basically a year, and it really wasn't an intentional thing to do it for that amount of time. It's just kind of, after about a year, I thought, you know, I want to go back to shooting some other film cameras and stuff like that, and so I did. You know, I got some Canon rangefinders, and you know, I've even bought some Rolleiflexes. But when it came to buying a Rolleiflex, I didn't have to find one with a planar lens or an Xenatar. I was happy to get a Rolleiflex with a Tessar, you know, something less perfect. And even today, though, I struggle with it. I bought myself a Holga. It's still in the box. I've had it for 6 months. The other day, though, I found this. It's an old Kodak #1. This is one of the few versions that's actually in 120 format. And the bellows was kind of ratty in it. And I actually found a guy on eBay that had brand new old stock bellows. I guess he bought a whole bunch of them from Kodak when they were, you know, going out of business or bankruptcy or whatever a long time ago. And on eBay, he sells these old Kodak bellows. So I bought the bellows. This has a Kodak achromatic meniscus 2-element lens. Very simple lens. And there's really only like 3 focusing settings. There's like 25, 50, and 35 or 30 feet. And that's, yeah. So it's, you know, it's very primitive. And so I've got it ready. I've got to take it out and shoot it. But I find myself now thinking more about what I'm shooting and how I'm composing it, the lighting, the timing, those things that really make a photograph good. And I've learned to not zoom into pictures and study the sharpness. I still do like good detail in an image, and I with my digital cameras, with my EM5 Mark II, I take a number of pictures in the high-res mode, you know. But I've gotten to a point where it's not quite the struggle it used to be. But I have to kind of force myself every now and then to go to something like this, or back to pinhole, or something that will kind of keep me grounded. And I love this thing. I love the Art Deco latch on the case and the cameras, you know, an old Kodak. I was really happy to find a bellows for it. I'm really excited. So I'm going to get out and take some pictures with it. But that's my my pixel peeping story, I guess you might say. I still struggle with it. I can tell you, if you are in the habit of doing that, you'll find yourself taking better pictures when you break that habit and start really focusing on what's important about your photography. Well, anyway, I hope some of that was helpful. If you struggle with that, I can only offer that moving to a medium where you remove sharpness from the image is a great way to break yourself of that. I had to do it for quite a while before I kind of got that urge out of my head. And even now, you know, I keep thinking I should upgrade my lenses on my micro four thirds cameras to something more expensive, and I realize that that's kind of folly, because that's not what's going to make my pictures better. So I still have to resist the urge. Anyway, if you have any thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you. If you've struggled with this, and as I know many have, you know, feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know how you got past it. Always love hearing from you. And as always, thanks for watching.